Harikrishna is currently playing at the Polish League, and he played a game that was very interesting against David Navara. Now, why do I call this game interesting? Is because there is a very nice trap that Harikrishna set, and I'm going to ask you guys to guess about it. So let's have a look at the game. Firstly, Hari opens the game with e4, c5, knight c3, d6, bishop b5, and actually Harikrishna had played this before against Wojtaszek, so it would not have come as a surprise to Navara. Queen takes d4 in the same event. Knight c6, queen d3, g6. I think Harikrishna just wanted a fresh position. Castles, knight f6, knight to d5, castles c3 was played here, knight to g4, bishop f4, e6, knight to e3. So the d6 pawn is slightly weak, but after knight e5, knight e5, knight e5, Harikrishna now makes a very nice decision. He takes on e5, takes on e5, and plays rook a d1. So white has small pressure on d6 point. You can see it's slightly weak. The knight can jump to c4 or g4. Also f4, f5 plans are in the air. So white has good play in the position. Rook d8, f4, bishop g7, and Harikrishna goes all out for the attack with f5. He could have also gone for a more calm approach with rook f2, just trying to triple down the d file, or even h4 with the idea of h5 could have been possible. So these were some options, but he went f5, queen e7 was played, and now knight to g4, queen g5. And here we were expecting Hari to go h3, and position looks fine. White is slightly better perhaps, but he went for the move queen g3, and this gave David Navara the chance to exchange the queens with h5. Knight has to move, and then he took, pawn takes, and this is the position on the board. And after d5, black has solved all his problems. If someone is fighting for an advantage, it has to be black, not white. Okay, Hari plays g4 here, and now e takes f5 was played, which is a fine move. Also possible was d takes e4, when after fe, knight e4, the position should be equal. But e takes f5, e takes f5, d4 played by David, c4, hg, knight g4, and now gf5, rook f5. So we reach this position, and just let's try to assess it. Okay, firstly, 4 pawns for each side. White has a knight, black has a bishop, rook is well placed behind this pawn. Okay, if the knight can somehow come here, white would have then a good blockade and also a queenside majority. That would be nice for him. But there is rook fe8, black rooks are active, he can always push d3, and in fact David does that on the next move itself. So clearly there is nothing terrible that is happening in the position. So here Harikrishna plays the move, I think the move of the game. Beautiful move. He plays knight to e3. And why do I call it the move of the game? Because look, the first move that came to my mind here was b3. And I was like, okay, my b2 pawn is hanging. I just save it. And now even if rook d4, my c4 pawn would not be hanging. And all of these thoughts crossed my mind. But Harikrishna goes knight e3, and he challenges David that please pick up the pawn on b2. Which David accepts the challenge and takes it, which he should not have. He should have played rook fe8, and after knight d5, bishop b2, the position is kind of fine for black. But he goes bishop b2 now. And here's your first question here. I mean, basically, what did Harikrishna have in mind? Really, really amazing move. It's so easy to miss this little intermediate checks. Harikrishna goes rook to g5 check. Did you spot it? It's a beautiful concept. Firstly, you would realize that bishop g7 going back does not work because of knight f5. So that's one use of the knight on e3. But if you play here, for example, any other move, that is king h7, as was played in the game, then now it's your question again, what should white play? How is white winning here? Well, white has to find the only move here, king f2. And the idea of this move is rook h1 checkmate. Just out of the blue, and that's why I was mentioning that he should have first gone rook f e8 and now taken, because any check means you can just keep your king safe on f8. But because he took directly, the king has to move to the h file, and after king f2, well, there's nothing much left to be done. Okay, even if you went king h8 here, there is king f2. There's no difference in this position, so he went king h7, king f2, rook d6 was played. And now for the final accurate move, white to play, what do you do? Of course, knight to f5 played, attacking the rook, defending the h6 square, and now rook h1 is incoming. So rook g6, check here, king has to go, and you spot the move. Yes, check here on Isa. Take on g6. He gave an intermediate check, but after king e4, he lost the pawn, and Harikrishna managed to convert this in a few moves. He's just an exchange up. Rook c6, king d5, and David Navara resigned here. So that gives Harikrishna a very important win here for his team. He is currently playing at this Polish league, and I can just show you a couple of things about that event so you know. Currently, Harikrishna's team, Wotumsa Polonia Wroclaw, is leading the event. It's the last round left today. 8 rounds have been completed, and they are on 13 points. Krakow is on second position with 12, Katowice on third with 11. And the event, Harikrishna's team consists of Hari, Nils, Oscar, Mateusz Bartel, Dimitros Mastro Vasilis, Yolanta Zawadzka. So this is the team, and Hari plays for the top board of the team of Wroclaw. And yesterday, just to give you an example, the match ended in a 3-3 tie against Katowice. And last board of each team is reserved for the women players. And Harikrishna's win was very important because it helped his team draw the match. So that was about the Polish league. Harikrishna currently on 2716. He has recovered a few of his rating points that he had lost with this win. And now, last round, we will bring you the action. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.